As you know from watching past episodes of History Hunters, I like to get into movie history and some of the filming locations of some well-known pictures. And today we're outside of Jamestown, California, where they filmed Back to the Future 3. We're going to take you back there a couple of miles and show you exactly where they filmed Back to the Future 3 with Michael J. Fox. I know ZZ Top was here. Of course, Emmett Brown, played by Christopher Lloyd, he was here. A number of Hollywood film classics have been shot in this area. Not too far from here is the highway, which makes for a great vantage point for the camera trucks to move while they're filming the train rolling down the tracks. There was one scene in particular I remember. The Little House on the Prairie was shot right through here, and they used the highway for the camera truck. The steam train ran along these tracks. This railroad dates back to the 1890s. I believe 1897 is when they decided to build a railroad from the Central Valley of California up to the foothills, mostly for logging purposes. We are in the Red Hills area. Just over the hill that way is Hill Valley. If you'll remember, Back to the Future was a trilogy taking place in Hill Valley. There was a guard that lived out here and he kept people away, and I remember a couple of times we tried to go to the set. We had this brilliant idea, and it worked, that if we went up here Christmas Day, he wouldn't be there. Well, he wasn't, and we were able to go into the town. I believe he lived in a travel trailer. He wasn't there, but we got to take pictures of it. It was pretty cool. We got to see the set up close. But the set isn't there anymore. It burned to the ground during a grass fire. I believe it was around 1993, 1995, somewhere around there. But unfortunately, none of the buildings are remaining, but we're going to go see if we can find some remnants that may be left of the movie set that was there. I believe the movie was shot here in 1989 because they released the film in 1990. And now as we walk back to the set, I'm going to show you about this area right over here. This is a low spot here between the tracks and Highway 120. So the film crews headlined this area with black plastic to capture water and form a small pond next to the tracks for a scene where a train rolls by and a stuntman jumps off and rolls down the embankment right into the water of the pond. It was for the movie Apple Dumpling Gang Rides Again, starring Don Knotts and Tim Conway. A stuntman went into the pond right in this area. I believe it was shot the same year I graduated from high school, which is '79. Sarah's joining us today.
Boom, boom, boom.
Is that from the Stand By Me?
Yeah.
Stand By Me is a movie that she has seen before. Now, as we go around the bend, this is the approximate location where they joined the DeLorean with the steam locomotive to get it up to 88 miles an hour to reach time travel mode. Again, we're along the Sierra Railroad tracks, or the Keystone area. What they did a lot of filming. This is not the point of no return, the X, but I thought it would be interesting to think, yeah, this could be the spot. Remember at the end of the movie where the train goes over the trestle because it's not finished yet, there's no bridge yet? It was shot not too far from here on the other side, the Keystone Ranch, into the Stanislaus River Canyon. Now that train was not a full-scale train, it was a model, and it went over the cliff. It was a spectacular shot. I want to show you over here was right in here was a old building. There was a structure here that was built for movie making back in the 60s. Was a number of films shot here. There was a scene from Gambler 2 shot here. There was also a movie with Peter Falk that was shot here. And I believe a couple of Little House on the Prairie. Now, Michael Landon filmed in this area quite a bit. The building was also in the background as they paired up the DeLorean and the steam train to begin pushing it down the tracks. Well, Michael J. Fox shot a scene out here where he's sleeping around a campfire ring. These could be the rocks because this was near the fake mill that was made for the movie set in the 1960s. This area of the Sierra Railroad tracks was the scene of a great deal of films over the years. We're talking about films that date back to Gary Cooper's days. Even Fatty Arbuckle used these railroad tracks. I know that he shot a film at the depot in Jamestown. There's just about every Little House on the Prairie episode where you see them at the train track was shot in Jamestown as well. Tom Selleck was dragged along these tracks in the movie Shadow Riders, although if you notice in the film he wasn't moving very fast. He actually did his own stunt. I can't entirely say for sure, but it looks like this is the spot where this picture was taken of the DeLorean being pushed down the tracks by engine number 3, the moving train. Sarah remembers it being a long walk back here.
Oh, I remember it being so far back here. No. Are we there yet, Papa Smurf?
We're not there yet.
Fall
A little bit more.
backwards.
So right in this area, I met Kenny Rogers. I came up here in 1983, and he was filming Gambler 2. And I waited here for the hours for the train, and the train stopped right here. Kenny gets off with his wife, Marianne. Mrs. Rogers took a picture of me with him, and Bruce Boxleitner was here. But yeah, it was just a one-on-one opportunity with Kenny Rogers. I actually shot a picture with Kenny right here. Memorable day, because how many times do you get to meet a legend like Kenny Rogers? Pretty much undisturbed landscape out here, kind of the way it was 100 years ago. This place may look familiar to you. This is the place where Doc Brown and Clara ride off on the hoverboard in that direction after her harrowing ride, where she was dangling off the train, hanging by the skirt of her dress. Through Hollywood magic, they rode off right through here. The Hollywood crews use this access road to go to the set, so we might go the back way, but the set's down this way. At the end of the film, Clara, played by Mary Steenburgen, takes off on a horse to go get Emmett because she loves Emmett. Emmett's going off into the future. Well, back to where he came from in the 1980s, I believe it was. They were in 1885. She actually runs her horse down this road. I don't believe anybody on YouTube has actually come out here, at least not in recent days. A lot of them like to point out Dr. Brown's house in Southern California, but most people don't even know where this place is. So I believe we found the location. This is where Hill Valley was. You can't even tell that anything was here, but there are some telltale signs. Here's some evidence. I know that they left a lot of the fences and stuff here. Here's a burned piece of it. Here's another piece of it. They've had a lot of fences out here on the north side of the set, and they left them here, and they left pieces of the fences here. What'd you find?
A lid to a can.
That couldn't be explained other than the fact that somebody was out here shooting a movie. What's that? A spray can?
Hey, maybe this. No. I was going to say maybe it's the bottom to the can.
So
Here's wood from.
look, it's brown.
Look, it's brown.
It looks like it. No, this side isn't painted. This side was. So I'm just wondering if that's got to be part of the set out here that didn't burn.
There's all kinds of framing on the ground.
That's the fencing that they used for some of the barnyard scenes as they come through here. Here you go. This is a metal rod here that could have been used to stake down some of the tents you see in the movie. Yeah, definitely pieces of the fences. On this side was the bathhouse, and you kind of see Michael J. Fox coming into the scene. Over here was the Undertaker, I believe. Up there was the town clock, but you can tell that hill behind is behind the town clock. Incidentally, Michael J. Fox almost hung himself in that scene where he was hanging by a rope. They were actually trying to hang Marty McFly in the film. And I guess it was an accident. He had a problem with the noose around his neck, and he was actually choking, and they had to bring him down. There's a nighttime scene that was shot here. Remember the dance scene? ZZ Top was actually here and flipping their little rustic guitars, kind of the way they do today. And there you go, there's more wood. Oh wow, look at this. It looks like a fried electrical cord. Now how would you explain that other than the fact that they used it for the filming out here? I remember they built the set out here in 1989. The film came out, I believe, in May, just before the summer break in 1990. A lot of people didn't think it was going to go anywhere, but definitely did. Over here was a train depot that Clint Eastwood built for the movie Pale Rider in 1985. What? Yeah, she found a water. Okay, she found a water tower back there, or a piece of it. The whole reason that they picked the theme of the Old West for Back to the Future 3 was because Michael J. Fox was asked by Bob Zemeckis of what era he wanted to go back to in the last of the 3 trilogies. And he said back to the Old West. So they did that, and they actually built an entire set here instead of picking anything that maybe was already available in Hollywood. And it fits with the whole theme. Marty McFly was dragged by his horse. This was the main street of the town. And I'm not sure that you'll be able to see it, but there's a Table Mountain over there with the S on it. It's actually in the background in one of the scenes. I'm going to go over there and show you the tracks. That's the location of where Doc Brown asked the train engineer if he can get the train up to 88 miles an hour to push the DeLorean down the tracks. He said, yeah, if you got it hotter than the blazes of hell of damnation itself, yeah, you could go that fast. So I've already found a number of these. I know what this is. This is fiberglass, and it's in the shape of a brick. This stuff was actually used on the side of the building. And when I came out here, and the set was, some of it was like rubber on the building, made to look like brick. It's very convincing, even though it was a simple plywood frame. They put this fake stuff over it and made it look like brick. I found this horseshoe. There were a lot of horses up here used in the filming of this movie. Who knows, this could be from the horse that Buford Tannen rode on. He was a mean SOB in that film. Do you remember how he called Marty McFly a gutless yellow turd? And then Marty said, he's an asshole. I believe it was right over here where Doc Brown's workshop was. It's really a tragedy that that set was burned in that fire. It would be really cool to have. I'm sure people would have pilfered stuff away from it. And these bushes have completely taken over. It doesn't look anything like it did back then. Of course, all this was cleared away. Crazy to think that it all happened right here. Right back over here is where the saloon was. What I thought was kind of neat about that whole scene was there were 3 Western character actors. Harry Carey Jr. was one, Pat Buttram, and Dub Taylor. They were comical because they were making fun of Marty McFly and the way he was dressed and his name.
I got $20 gold bet on you, so don't let me down. 3! I got $30 gold bet against you, so don't let me down.
Pat Buttram, he's the one that says, run for fun? What the hell kind of fun is that? Yeah, it was pretty cool. Bad Girls was shot out here with Drew Barrymore, and I believe Andie MacDowell, she was in that. But they stayed in Sonora during the filming of that one. And I understand that they attended the Tuolumne County Fair in Sonora. They rented a house, and that's where we stayed. Oh, another note, when Michael J. Fox was here for the filming of Back to the Future 3, he stayed at a place called the Gables Inn in Dwayne Hart. So this was kind of what Sarah was talking about earlier. She thinks this is the water tower frame, and it probably was over there. It was probably dragged over here by some hoodlums. Piece of metal may be strapped from it. Also a water pipe. I don't know why there'd be a plastic pipe out here. Hill Valley. I actually worked for a paper, told one of the reporters about them filming up here. He actually snuck up here at night while they were filming a scene. A sneaky little guy. I guess he was lurking out in the bushes over there, and one of the extras heard him rustling out there, and they decided to throw some bottles at him just to scare him. Thought it was real funny that there were people lurking around trying to find a piece of the action.
Like I said, we'll finish this tomorrow.
Tomorrow we're robbing the Pan City stage.
What about Monday? We doing anything Monday?
No, Monday be fine. You can kill him on Monday.
I'll be back this way on Monday.
I wish I would have done that, actually, when I think about it. Right in this area of the tracks, Clint Eastwood constructed a fake depot for Pale Rider. It was the first building out here before the Back to the Future set was built. Actor Richard Dysart was out here for train scenes in both Pale Rider and Back to the Future 3. It was used in Back to the Future. In fact, there's a scene where the camera flies over and gives you your first view of Hill Valley. There's a bee flying in front of my camera. When the fire took out the set, it also took out the depot that was here, which is also a tragedy. Does this make you want to see Back to the Future 3?
No. There's nothing here.
Yeah, but just to say, hey, I was here. I was there. I was there. Same place.
Who am I going to tell? Guess what? I'm at the site where they filmed Back to the Future 3. Aren't I lucky? Lucky that I can walk my butt back here. Although it would be fun. I've always wanted to do one of those things on the railroad track.
Oh yeah, what do they call those? Little hand carts?
Hand pumper cart majiggers.
The reason I know this definitely is where the depot was is because there's all these nails. And there was, the only structure that was out here was that depot that Clint Eastwood built. The railroad doesn't use nails, but man, a ton of them. Once the building burned, the nails just fell out of the wood, dropped to the ground. There they are. Clint Eastwood nails.
Clint Eastwood nails?
Yeah. He built this. Malpaso Productions.
Hold on. Clint Eastwood built that.
His production company built that. Clint Eastwood nails. I remember one time going up the highway, and it was a nighttime scene, and there was a big light over there underneath one of the oak trees. Clint Eastwood was filming Pale Riders at the time, and I know he was out there. Didn't have the gumption to go up there to that location and trespass. Probably would have been kicked out big time.
Is there a way to get kicked out little time?
I guess it could be considered little time if you got caught for trespassing. Anyway, that's about all that we can show you on this episode of History Hunters. Like I said, the buildings are all toast. We hope that you enjoyed this program and that you learned a little bit more about Back to the Future 3 set. The show likes to visit old historical places as well as movie locations. So if you like this channel, we hope that you subscribe and become followers of ours. Thanks for watching.